Hi, my name's Colin Telford. I'm a technician and I work in the University of Wales, Trinity St David's in the Design and Crafts department. We're going to do a few short training videos for you covering the basics of working with glass. In this video, we're going to cover how to cut a circle and thicker pieces of glass.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we've done all those little shapes, we've done sheet cutting. We're just going to do a simple circle, right? Probably one of the hardest things to do freehand, but if you've got a circle cutter, and you can buy these from any glazier's supplies, you can move the cutter up and down a rod which is on a suction pad. You put the suction pad on the glass and you set that to whatever distance is. This one's got markings on there, you can just work that out, okay? You put that on your piece of glass. Now remember, with cutting glass you always need a bit of excess, alright, so you can snap out. I've just picked this bit of scrap out of the bin, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to make sure that my circle, just by holding it first, fits all the way around the edge, okay? I'm happy with that. It's a little bit more than I would normally waste. If I'm doing lots of them, I'd cut the squares first and then do circle, but I've just, as I said, got this out the shelf. So all I'm going to do with that sucker now is make sure that it's pushed down, look, and I'm going to lock that in place, and now that can't move, alright? So now I've set my distance between here to get my right radius, and what you've got to check is that this will spin right the way round. Don't have anything in the way, like your goggles or something, because it's going to hit halfway round. So make sure you've got the space to it. I'm not pushing on that at the moment, so it's not cutting. Okay, so the next thing to do is to get some oil. Always oil your cuts, right? Just going to put that in there. Look, and I'm going to sit that in there. Make sure that bottle doesn't get in the way. And I'm just going to make sure the oil gets all the way around the cut. When I'm happy, I'll get into position and I'll push down and I'll just get back to the start there. Don't go over it, just get to it clonks. Take that away, okay? Now, we're going to do exactly the same as we did with our second shape I showed you. We're going to tip that over and then we're going to push on the widest area here. Look. You'll see it now, Gary, it will run, ready? There you go, it runs there. Go to that one, run there, you can hear a click. Run there, and run there. There you go, now that's broken out. Okay, so now this time I'm going to flip it over, wait for the click, and I'm going to do the same on this side, on the widest area. You hear that? And that's nicely broken out now. So now all we got to do is release the waste. So get your cutter, and you want to cut just about 1 mil back. Don't cut over your cut line because the cut will run. So about 1 mil back off the cut into that area there. Same thing again there. About 1 mil back. 1 mil back. Then, same thing again, flip it over, press on the cut, there you go, there you go, there, and there, look, and then you've got beautiful cut edge on your circle. Okay. Okay, so, at the moment, we've been using kind of what I call bog standard size glass, 4mm, 3mm. So our circle that we cut was 4mm glass, okay? Now, here at Swansea, we do sandblasting and we do a lot of sandblast carving. So we eat into the surface of the glass. So you need quite a nice thick glass to actually be able to carve into it. Now, this is a piece of 10mm. You can see the difference. It's really thick. Now, if I scored down there, okay, and tried to snap that, it's just no way I could do it. If I scored, again, I could put it at the end of the table and really give it a slap, but I'll get a really rough edge, alright? So, with this kind of material, you will need proper tools for the job. This is a 10 to 16mm breaking out pliers. It's the only time I use breaking out pliers because I physically cannot break that by my hand. And if I did, it would be such a rough cut. We might try and get a piece, and I will do a rough cut to show you what actually happens. So basically then, these cutters you buy as well for depending on the thickness of glass. So our standard cutters will normally do from about 2mm glass to about 8-9mm. This sheet cutter will cope with 10mm just. But you can buy cutters that are specifically for thicker glass, so they make more of a fault line on the material. So again, getting the right tools for the job is really necessary. But my cutter will cope with this 10mm. And basically, all we're going to do is approach it in exactly the same way. We'll put a little bit of oil on. We've got our nice ruler with a thick edge, so we're not getting stuck. And we're going to put a bit of oil down, and then we're just going to run from one edge to the other. Right off. Now, what I'm then going to do is get my pliers. I'm just going to bring this to the edge of the table. I can see the line. Now these go up this way, and you can adjust them like that. You put that on, and it's got to see that little slot there. It's going to be right in line with your cut. The more accurate you get it in the centre, the better the cut. And then all I'm going to do is just squeeze that down, and you'll hear it click in a minute if I shut up. So listen. There it goes. Look at that. And that, you'll get a perfect edge. Whereas you can see with this edge of it, someone's tried to break that off or hasn't lined up the pliers right, and you get that awful cut. But with the nice material, look at that. And you'll probably find that will stand up, if any luck. There you go. But that one's not going to go anywhere near it because of the burr. So you can see the difference in the quality of the finish. And these are 10mm, but you do need specialist tools when you start using 10mm.
For more guides, we're working with glass. Explore our other videos through the Craft Hub platform.